Greetings, hello, welcome on in. Unoptimized Fool here from the office. Glad you could be here. Again, if you haven't seen the first video that I made in here, we have obviously changed places, right? We have moved locations, but obviously, hopefully you like it. Hopefully you like the audio quality with this video. Now, today, obviously, I want to talk about World of Warcraft, but most specifically, I want to talk about housing. Now, we knew about housing, obviously, it's coming in midnight, but actually, it's coming a little bit sooner than we thought, which, obviously, I think we were kind of guessing that was going to happen. So let's go into a little bit of a deeper dive into everything housing that was announced at Gamescom. All right, guys, the first thing I want to talk about is when early access housing is actually coming out. And so again, we knew about early access to housing way before Gamescom. We actually had a data mine where when 11.2 was pushed to live servers, inside of that data, there was access to the pre-purchase editions that were for midnight, right? And obviously you couldn't buy them, but you had the details. And every edition had access to early accessing, right? This housing system. So we now know that early access to housing is launching in patch 11.2.7. Now, we don't know the official date on when this is going to be released, but Ian has said on a panel that it would be coming this year, right? And obviously, midnight is slated for, we don't have an exact date, but 2026 is the only thing they give us. So obviously, I'm thinking it's going to be quarter 1 or quarter 2. That's just my guess, since the last patch for the War Within is coming in 2025. But again, we know 11.2.5, right, will be coming out October 7th. That's the data mine date. It could be obviously around there, but we could see a November or December launch of early access housing, right? Now, I'm glad they're doing this, right? Obviously, it's because, imagine having Midnight come out, you have to level up, you have to gear up, and you also have to dive into housing. It would have been a madhouse, that's for sure. But obviously, guys, just preface here, you have to pre-order Midnight in order to participate in early access housing, right? Just to let you guys know. All right, guys. So also, Blizzard did put out an article talking about 5 things to know about housing, right? So obviously, a lot of this information is going to be staggered through shorts, YouTube videos, and posts. Again, I'm going to eventually make a video about how this kind of discombobulated information was kind of a bad thing. But yeah, they put out a list here about 5 things to know about housing, right? So the first thing they said is obviously neighborhoods, right? They gave us a picture of neighborhoods and said, own one house per faction in neighborhoods that are accessible to all your characters. Public and private charters, neighborhoods, houses up to 50 players, while private guild ones will scale to fit all members, right? So obviously, I think the lowest you can have in a guild is 10. Obviously, I think that's the charter that you have to sign for a guild to. I haven't made a guild in a while, to be fair. And also, too, you can have a guild up to not up to 300 players, but like if you have a guild of 300 players, that means that 300 plots will be there. I wonder how it's going to scale and how it's not going to clutter. That's obviously not determined yet, but it looks like guilds will scale, which is pretty cool, right? Now, the second thing that they said is customization, right? Obviously, we know there's customization. You can customize your house inside and out, so right, interior and exterior, right? So you can choose among human, orc, and elven exterior architecture, with more styles to come in the future. So obviously, for now there's 3, right? Obviously human for the Alliance, orc for the Horde, and obviously elven just because Midnight is taking place in quel'thas, right? So that makes sense. But obviously more will come. Hopefully we'll see more customization, and hopefully each patch, not expansion, because obviously that would be a long time to wait. The third thing they said is obviously collect decor. So you can collect decor items everywhere in the game, right? You can browse, preview, and pursue the items you want and have collected an all-new housing chest. So it looks like obviously things that you've already done in Azeroth will come into play here, and obviously it will tell you exactly where this item comes from. And it even says that you can pursue, right, the items. So hopefully you can even track which items you can do, like you can track achievements or quests, and hopefully you can just keep that on your bar and keep an eye on it, right? That'll be neat. The fourth thing they said, obviously, is crafting, right? So all existing professions will be able to craft decor. And obviously, when they say all existing ones, in a previous post, they said that only ones that are making items, right? Obviously, when you have mining or skinning, right? Obviously, you need probably resources, but obviously with mining and skinning, those are collecting resources. and in professions. So anything that has to do with crafting obviously will be part of this. And we also have a new crafting material, lumber. So it shows a person cutting down a tree. So it looks like obviously we're going to go out into nature and cut down some trees. And the last thing they talk about is upgrades, right? So obviously we can collect new decor items and participate in monthly neighborhood endeavors to level up your house. So you can upgrade, you unlock upgrades like more rooms, floors, and new dye options. So it looks like, just think of like the renowned system. Obviously, there's new UI for it, but it looks like you work as a community, right? So obviously, if you're in a private community, a public community, or a guild community, you can always work together. So obviously, pick which one you want to do, obviously, because again, I think one house per character is probably the way to go, just because again, there's a lot of customization in here. All right, guys, this is actually the last piece of information so far for housing. Now, obviously, this is a pretty developing situation. Gamecom is still going on. There's still things to be announced. So there may be more information that comes out when this video gets released. But obviously, if it's major information, we'll definitely cover it. Now, there was going to be, it looks like Taliesin and Vettel talked to Associate Game Director Paul, right, Cubit. And there was more information about housing, right? So Paul said that plants won't wither if you forget to water them. So obviously you can put plants inside your house, and thankfully you don't have to micromanage the plants. So obviously people who are putting plants in your house, you don't have to water them, which is good. Again, it sounds like a meme, but honestly, having to manage that, would have been awful. Now Blizzard is going to award players retroactively with player housing cosmetics, depending on which notable achievements they've garnered over the 20 years of the game. So obviously think of what happened with the transmog sets that happened, I think, during Dragonflight or the beginning of the War Within. Actually, it was the War Within, excuse me. So yeah, obviously everything that you've done achievement wise, you should definitely be getting whatever. Obviously think of like a Nixia's head on your wall. You'll be getting that if you've killed a Nixia. So might be the time to work on some of those legacy achievements, just so you can, obviously get. We don't know what's tied to what, but we can probably assume at this point, right? So players will also start with empty houses, obviously, right? But presets will be available for those who want them. There are going to be some people who enjoy presets, some people that starts from scratch. It's obviously preference, so it's good that they're seeing some presets. Obviously, I don't think I'm going to be doing presets. What I'm planning to do with my house actually is to have a room for each expansion, right? Kind of like showcase each expansion. So it'll be pretty neat if I can be able to do that. I'm not too sure. Again, I haven't played with the system yet. They also said that private neighborhoods will scale with as many members as you need, right? So if you need plots for guild members, Blizzard won't cap you. So it's going to be interesting to see how they're going to do those types of things. Obviously, you can have guilds with, I think, up to 900 players, I think, like that, right? So it's pretty large. So that's a lot of plots. Imagine, again, and obviously it's not going to get to that extent, but I wonder how they're going to do it. Maybe it's going to be sub instances inside this instance neighborhood. Obviously, we have these neighborhoods being instanced, right? So it's going to be interesting to see how that is. We'll have to see when that gets released and once maybe hopefully beta testing gets involved, right? We also have players can customize the outside of their house with race-themed decor. If you'd like your house to have human orc looks, you can go for it. So it makes me believe that the human orc looks, you can, I'm not sure if it's faction locked. They didn't really mention that. So maybe you could have an orc themed house for an alliance member. I'm not too sure. Again, they didn't say anything like that, but it seems like it's pretty free to do what you want. And also, the last thing they said is Blizzard is interested in hearing feedback about player housing. They've already heard guild hall requests. Now, again, I think hopefully this will open the door. Again, I would love if they even bring back class halls, right? I think class halls are pretty, you know, throughout the community very much missed. And it would be cool if we could have a guild hall, especially if you have the guild, the private neighborhood for the guild. It would be cool if you have this giant meet, like basically inn that you can all come together, have meetings and whatever, right? So I think, obviously this system will evolve, but I'm hoping that it evolves pretty quick. Alrighty, guys, and again, that's all the information we have right now for about housing. Now, again, everything is subject to change. These are interviews that are pretty set in stone, but there could be more information coming out right when I release this video. Now, obviously, if there's major changes, I will make an updated video. So again, all this information right now is what we have. I'm looking forward to housing. Again, what's your opinion about housing? Are you excited about housing? Again, also talking about the changes regarding the videos. I'm hoping you're liking the changes. Again, it's new. It might be weird. I didn't bring my coffee pot out here to throw because, again, I could throw it. It's going to make a loud noise, right? Part of the thing. But I actually have 5 guinea pigs over here off to the camera here. So that would scare the heck out of them. And I like them too much for them to scare them every time. So, again, thank you for listening. I am Unoptimized Fool. I'll see you guys in the next one.